Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Bob.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Are you on video or you're on video?
No, I can never get that to work.
Oh, just call. Okay, I was gonna say because I can't see you.
I don't look my Sunday best anyways.
Hey, none of us do lately.
Lisa, could you hear me? It's Mike Brennan.
Yep, Mike, I can hear you and see you.
All right, I got in. You don't have to answer my email.
Okay.
I cut and pasted and it worked.
Hi, Lisa. Pete McIntyre. How do you get a facial?
You have to, if you're doing you need like a laptop or a computer with a camera and a speaker.
Oh, okay, no, I'm doing the cell phone.
The cell phone, okay. Hi, Gary.
Hello.
Hi, Gare.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Oh, I don't see Bob yet.
Is Steve Jeskowitz online?
Oh, hi, Steve.
How you doing?
Wayne's here.
I'm here.
All right, we'll give it another minute or two. Is there anyone online who hasn't announced that they're online?
I don't see, or I haven't heard from Kate, Steve, Shuttleworth, or Jerry.
I'm here.
Oh, Jerry, you're
Hi,
here?
Jerry. Yeah.
Okay.
Going Dan. Dan Hetzler here.
All right, so I got Wayne, Jerry, Dan Hetzler, myself.
Yeah, Mark Brennan, Gary, I can see on.
Mike is here, Gary's here,
Bob's here.
Gary Schneider.
Bob's here.
Bob.
Just missing Kate and Steve.
Hoping to get Kate for sure.
Hi, Kate.
What's up?
Hi.
Hi, Kate.
Hi. Oh, hi, Kate. You're visible today. Yay.
Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and get started on the meeting. It is 5:02. I call this regular meeting of the Town of Ledyard Permanent Municipal Building Committee to order. This is a regular meeting being held remotely on WebEx and by phone, and it is our first meeting of the month of June. So with that, the meeting has been called to order. I'll start with a roll call. Please state your name and your position either on the board or your company. Steve Jeskowitz, Chair. Pete McIntyre, Vice Chair.
Gary Cheminsky.
Bob Guerrero, Board of Ed.
Wayne Donaldson, Board of Ed.
Gary Schneider, member.
Mike Brennan, O&G.
Stephen June, Silver Petroselli.
Kate Palmer Herb, Board of Ed.
Okay, with that, I think we have everyone except Steve Shuttleworth. Steve, you online? Okay, not hearing Steve, we'll go ahead and get started the meeting. We have a quorum. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voting members of 7. Pretty good. The next item will be approval of the minutes. The minutes of 18 May 2020 are available online. I will entertain motions to approve those minutes.
Pete McIntyre moved to approve the minutes from 1 June to not 1 June. What are the minutes?
18 May.
Second, please.
Second.
Okay, second by Kate Palmer Herb. Okay, the motion's been made. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion on the minutes of 18 May? Hearing none, I will take a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes as written, signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Gary Cheminsky, aye.
Kate Palmer Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
All right, with that, the ayes have it, and that motion is approved. The minutes are approved. All right, moving on for citizens' comments. Lisa, I did send something off to you, and I'll just speak to it. I guess it's citizens' comments and informational. So let me do citizens' comments first. If there are any citizens who have dialed in that wish to speak to the committee or be heard, I'll wait about 30 seconds for you to be able to unmute and chime in.
Okay.
Give it a few more seconds. Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on from there. I did receive an email correspondence, which I did pass off to you, Lisa, to be included at some point. But basically, it came from George Hosey, a resident of the town, asking us to discuss the number of items that are remaining on the punch list. I did send a note to Wayne, asked him to be able to bring that up when he talks about the project. We were at over 400 the last time George had dialed in, so he just wanted an update on that. And understanding that the punch list is only part of the work list, so to speak, that we're doing. So when we get to the projects, Wayne, if you'll speak to that, that'd be great.
Yep, no problem.
I have no other informational items, so we'll move right into Roman numeral number 7, the Ledyard School Improvement Project. So Wayne, would you like to go ahead and give us an update on how things are going around the schools
Sure.
with that project?
I'll start at Gallup Hill. Things are actually going pretty well. Mike has been doing a good job about keeping the contractors in. So we've gotten a lot of things accomplished. The asbestos abatement was completed last week on the back wall at Gallup Hill. They found the lower section of the vermiculite was extremely wet. And as it moved up, it got actually dry. So they had some problems initially getting it out, but when they finally did, the rest of it seemed to come back down as much as it could without everything that the contractors had shoved in there, excess mortar and everything else. The automatic doors have been installed at Gallup Hill. There's still a little bit of sealing work that has to be done to reconfigure around the new closers. AdTech was in, they finished the cafeteria screen, lowered the projector. So I believe they're complete now with their work. And right now my punch list shows 159 open items. I will qualify that in at least 2 things. First is I haven't looked at this list in a couple of months. So there are things on there that, Mike has had numerous contractors in, and I'm still showing a lot of doors that aren't hold opens and, that type of thing that I haven't gone around and verified. They haven't actually sent a list and said this room is complete. So I will get back before our next meeting and go through that list. And there are also on the list multiple items that are the same. Like the ceiling tiles that have to be recut that are falling out might be listed 10 times for 10 different rooms. So honestly, it's probably somewhat significantly less than that. But I will get you a clear update on that before our next meeting. I didn't have enough time when you called or texted me, Steve, to go through the buildings and compare it against the list.
Okay. Just to speak to that, Wayne, can you send a update of that out to the committee when you get a chance to adjust that? And understand that when you say the punch list 159, does that include all the items that we've added in after the building was originally punched?
Yes, it doesn't change. It does include change orders. It does include a few items like the wayfaring signs, which you sent over to me to get pricing on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just. Yeah, it's not just, and also there's some FF&E items with furniture that there's problems with. So it's not all ONG.
Roger, all that. Okay, Lisa, just please make sure that's clearly reflected in our meeting minutes for those that are dialing into that. All right.
Sure.
Okay, keep going, Wayne, on the either school. I guess you're still on Gallup Hill.
That's pretty much it on Gallup Hill. We still don't have anything new on the heating issues there. I have a feeling that's going to run into the next heating season, only because, what we're having mostly was heating problems, and there won't be any way to verify any correction on those until we get into, October, November of next year.
Let me stop you there for a second, Wayne, just a second, and let Mike Brennan, I can't afford, the town can't afford for this project not to go into closeout for the purposes of being able to get reimbursed by the state for a whole nother season. So what I'd like to do is just take a note on this as separate from this, Mike Brennan, O&G, and the town will talk about how to preserve the town's interest, but still be able to close the project out with these couple of rooms that are still a problem for us. We can have a discussion about that separate and then brief the committee on that as we get closer to closing out the project.
Okay.
All right.
Noted.
If that works for you, Mike, does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. The only thing we're waiting for, Steve, again, is the balancing information that I've been screaming at Action Air for. He thought it went out. It never went out. His girl apparently thought it did, but I haven't gotten it. And that information for the 4 or 5 rooms is what we're waiting for over there, so that Silver could look at it from a trending standpoint and maybe come up with some solutions for those rooms. But so that's where we are. I mean, I don't know what the solution is, whether to add some radiant panels at the perimeter or whatever, but that's sort of it in a very high level 50,000 foot look. So,
Yeah, the cost
but-
to the town to not close the project out will exceed the cost to do any of that work. So we'll have to figure all that out, and we'll have that discussion and lay that out, because I want to compute the cost of every month that we delay closeout for the town. And I have talked to Marcia Hancock about that, come up with a very real number, and that'll help focus us on the need to close out.
Steve, FYI, I did book some money into the cost report for that. You know, a lump sum number that's in there. So the number that you see there accounts for some sort of fix, just so you know.
Roger that. All right, thanks, Mike. All right, I'm sorry, Wayne, to interrupt you on there. I just wanted to
That's
make
all
sure
right.
that we had that. So just go ahead and keep going, sir.
All right, middle school. The work has started on the mag hold opens on the doors. I was in conversations with Mike today and the fire marshal on the science room doors. In order to use a floor magnet, which was what we intended to do rather than involve cutting open the walls and putting support in there for a wall magnet, the door would not open 90 degrees. It would go to about 87, 88 degrees. There is nothing in the code that requires 90 degrees, according to the fire marshal. I talked to him, and he said that's fine, absolutely. That 2 degrees isn't going to make any difference. So we're good to go ahead on those. We just wanted to make sure the committee was aware of that. If something comes up in the future where they say, "Oh, they're not opening 90 degrees," yes, that's the way the hold opens. The mag hold opens on the floor work. We can't get them back that close to the wall.
Roger. Is that going to create a trip hazard, or are we going to be okay?
I think it'll be fine. It's only 2 degrees. It's insignificant.
No. I meant the trip hazard on the floor.
No, because they're behind the door.
When the door is open.
Yeah, they're against the wall behind the door.
Right. And when the door is shut, that tends to be when the kids are all in the classroom.
Tends to be when the kids are in the classroom, and they would be going to the left side where the handle is to pull it against
Sounds
that
good.
stop. Yeah. So I don't think it'd be an issue.
Now, what about power to that electromagnet? Is that going to require them to chip into the concrete?
No, that's why we went on the floor. We'll drill the mount into the floor and then run a piece of wire mold or something up to the ceiling to get power.
Understand.
Fish it out.
All right, so it'll be against the wall on the floor, not away from the wall.
Correct.
Okay, understand now. I had a picture of it being an inch or two away from the wall.
No.
All right, keep going, Wayne.
Okay. The installation.
Can I interject with something?
Yeah, go ahead.
For a second, this is Steve from Silver Petroselli. I did some homework into the that issue of the door not swinging 90 degrees. We need by code 30 inches for that opening. We can get away with a 34-inch door, but if you add in the width of the door when it's open, the spacing between the door and the jamb, and then also the handle, we're up to about a 34-inch door. Standard handles with a 34-inch door can make the code requirement, but we always prefer to go with a 36-inch door. So that door not being at 90 degrees when fully open, it's not an issue because we will have the 30-inch. So we are fine with that situation.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Okay, the Ferguson's been in working on the lights in the auditorium. the ones, the pathway lights, I guess you would call them, that went behind the curtains, where it was blacked out and down that hallway, have been installed. They're still waiting for some of the stage lights to come in so they can install those. Other than that, they're pretty much ahead. They've put in all the wiring, the outlets in the chorus room for the pianos. So that's well underway. The auto doors have been installed at the middle school. They're complete. We also have to see, it's time to start thinking about what we're going to do with the gym floor at the middle school. Again, since we had that significant problem this last fall, I'm still inclined, and the wood floor people are still telling me that we should be waiting a good year before we make any sanding or do anything with that floor. So if we can come to O&G, I'm still in favor of waiting until next summer to try and do anything with that floor. They have completed some more of the exterior items. They lowered the fence posts, so they're all at the proper height now. They still haven't closed off the opening between the fence. They're waiting for a piece of fence to come in. And currently, with the same caveats I gave you for Gallup Hill, I'm showing 160 items on the LMS list. Again, multiple rooms for the same item. And I have not looked at this in probably 2 months. So I will go out, look at the punch list on all the buildings, both buildings, and get back to you before the next meeting with an accurate list. Because I know Mike has had people out there and they have worked on a number of these items.
So waiting for the meeting minutes, then you are confident that the actual number is significantly below the 159, and
160.
you'll have an update to us.
Yes, I'll get you an update. Sometime in the next week or 10 days, I'll walk the buildings again and get that down. I did take off things that were on the list that I know were done, because either I went out when the contractor was there and were physically doing them, or through my conversations with Mike said they were done and I went out and verified it. But there are a lot of small items. Like I said, there's tons of doors that aren't opening or slamming and that type of stuff that I know his door guys were out. But like I said, I didn't get a list and said, we fixed this door. They came through and did a lot of work. So I just have to go back and verify the individual doors were corrected. And there's still not a problem.
For Steve June, at some point, I know that, so Petroselli isn't on site that much right now. You guys have to come back out and do one final closeout on the punch list? Or is that up
We'll
to
review.
town?
Yes, we'll review the whole punch list.
Roger. All right, Wayne, still your floor.
That's pretty much all I have right now on the three. Things are moving along. There's contractors in the buildings every day. So we are definitely making progress.
How did things turn out with the storage unit at the storage shed at the Gallup Hill School? Was that paving done?
Paving was done last week. Looks good. They also repaired the curb out in the street where the old entrance was. So that came out very nice.
And what do we know about parking lot lights?
That's still a semi-open issue. They did come out and adjust them. They seem to work at times, but not consistently. They have not been on all night and all day like they were, so they are going on and off. There's just an issue now, I think, with I'm not sure if it's a defective light sensor or not, but they seem to be coming on earlier than they should. Like the other day, Thursday, whatever day we had the bright sunshine, until 8 o'clock at night, it was perfectly light out and they were coming on like 7. So I don't know if there happens to be a tree blocking something where that light sensor is, or for some reason, but it's not consistent. And then the next night it was like 8:30 before they came on.
Hey, I'm going to go out on a limb here and ask the question back to Steve June. And since we have a timer mechanism already on this, does that timer mechanism have the ability to as designed, the one that they put in, is that a programmable timer that can have your latitude in it and your longitude offset, and just deal with the fact that we know when the sun comes up and down every day? In fact, we've known since I think about roughly 600 AD, the schedule for the sunrise and sunset. So if in fact the sensor can do that, why wouldn't we just take the light sensor out of the circuit and just have it operate based on, sunset and sunrise, or a time at night to go off, and it comes on, we know when we want the lights on.
Yeah, Steve, I don't know if that incorporates the latitude and longitude, or the longitude, but I can find out. I will get back to you with that information.
I am not an electrical engineer. However, keep it simple. And in this case, since we really know I realize that when we have a solar eclipse, that it is possible that the lights might want to come on that once every so many years for a few minutes. I'm willing to not have the lights come on during a solar eclipse if that's the case, so we don't have all these other problems. I'm not trying to be silly about this, but this is not rocket science here. This is pretty basic stuff. So I did a little bit of research on these types of controllers, and they're not very expensive, and they're not very complicated. So it'd be nice to see what they can do. We've been chasing this one way too long.
Sorry.
All right. Wayne, do you have anything else?
The only other thing I have is I did finally get a quote on the wayfaring signs, and I'm waiting for exact information. But the quote for both buildings was like $491.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah. So
Okay, we'll move in that direction.
yeah. So let me just be sure of what he's doing, so I can, we're not going to get something that's going to peel off. Get confirmation and some kind of guarantee from him on that, and then I'll bring it back for you with the official quote, and we can move forward.
Okay. And all right. So. And Mike Brennan, I'm going to ask O&G to speak next, you and or Dan. I realize you've been more with the trades and Dan's been doing pushing paper. What I'd like to know is if you have anything to add first, we'll start out with the best tech work related to the vermiculite. If you want to start there, and the floor belongs to O&G.
No, I don't have that much more to add, Steve. The brickwork will happen if not the end of this week, the following week. As I mentioned to Wayne, leaving that cavity open a little bit longer to let air blow through that and dry it out is to everybody's advantage before I brick it up and then cut some weeps in the bottom of that wall. One other minor item that we fixed this past week were all the bench foundations that were too short. That contract will be back when the concrete comes up to PSI strength to bolt them back in. Just looking at my list here to see if Wayne covered pretty much everything that's been accomplished. The safe room colors we picked, finally got an approval on the samples that were submitted to Silver Petrocelli. I understand those colors are readily available, so I anticipate us getting going with that work, if not next week, the week after. Get those rooms built.
Are those colors that are like, that someone from the school has said are calming colors for kids?
Yeah, the green floor was similar to the greens that are in the school, at least from what I saw of what was submitted. I can't tell you what, I wasn't picking colors, but I saw them go back and forth. Silver's interior people picked it, so I'm assuming.
Mike, can you send them over to me? I haven't seen them yet.
Okay, I'll have to find them in the system here, but yeah, we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah, my only question there is the woman who came and spoke to us that was responsible for that segment of the Board of Ed.
I'll run them by her.
I just want to make sure that we're picking colors, not reds and colors that make kids angry.
The walls, I believe, were white or an off-white, and the floor was a green or like a soft green, similar to the greens that we've got in the school. But I will send them. I gotta dig them out.
Yeah, and also the lighting in those rooms, I'm presuming, is LED. As far as the safe room goes, just making sure that we're not, putting light color frequencies and colors in there that make it worse. We're spending all this money on these rooms. We might as well do everything we can to make it as safe and calming as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Mike. Keep going, sir.
I think that's about it, Steve. Wayne covered the majority of the items. A lot's getting done, and we got a few more items to get done, but hopefully knock them off in the next 30 days or so and be done with this.
And as far as the work that was done by Best Tech, is that work been, has Fuss & O'Neill been out to do all their required testing and oversight?
Yes, they were there on the at the closure and took final readings on Friday when we broke down the containment. So you should be getting those from Fuss & O'Neill. They'll send them to you because their contract is directly with you guys.
Roger that. All right. Hey, thanks, Mike.
In fact, I think Wayne had a couple additional tests done as well, just to make sure, protect the town. And Wayne may want to comment on that about, we've had some above ceiling tests done as well.
Yeah, there was some, that when they opened the wall, it was found that the walls actually opened up into the ceiling area above the drop ceiling. So I asked her to take a test up there just to be sure that none of the fibers had migrated, through the wall being open and stuff up into above the ceiling. That could eventually come down.
Yeah, those would be dollars well spent. And we have those test results back.
Not yet. She verbally told me that they were all clear, that she found nothing, and what she was looking at was infinitesimal. So I'm not expecting any problems, but I don't have the official paperwork test back yet.
Roger. All right. Hey, thank you. Mike, if you don't have anything else, we'll let Dan speak to what he's been up to.
No, I'm good. I'm good from my point of view.
Okay, so this is Dan. The only field work that I've been involved in is moving along the masonry sign that's out in front of LMS, or will be. So we're proceeding to a schedule for submittal reviews and then fabrication. That puts us at a install date. I believe it's around July 1st to be done around, no, it's July 10th, and it finishes up around July 19th, maybe a week later. So just FYI, those submittals are going their circle. They're following their path. As Wayne mentioned, the exterior site work punch list remaining over at the Gallup Hill School. They've been hot and heavy on over the last couple of weeks, and will continue to do so. I have a follow-up on the site punch list back check on Wednesday afternoon. I know we have landscapers in there tomorrow and Wednesday. This last couple of weeks hasn't been a heavy week for dollars and cents. My time has been dedicated elsewhere, so I wasn't able to provide any more allowance closeouts, but I'll be circling back to those for our next meeting.
Well, actually, we've got some on the agenda tonight for $56,000 and $12,000. So we got some money coming back this week, and our target date really needs to be about the August, 1 September timeframe to be able to get the project in closure. I think we're on track to be able to do that. So,
I concur. No, your timeline's good there. I think we should be, as far as allowances, I'll have those wrapped up in that timeframe.
Roger. And Steve June, so Petroselli?
Yeah, I'm working probably about an hour each week on the projects, reviewing change orders, pay apps. I was out there last Friday at Gallup Hill to take a look at that wet wall, the vermiculite wall. Met with Stacy. She updated the information that she had. This Thursday, I'm going out to LMS to meet with Wayne in regards to some a light issue that we have with a pole that was being removed or had been removed with the neighbors' parking lot lights. So other than that, that's it.
All right, excellent. All right, with that, are there any other general items before we get into paying some bills and doing some change orders? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Roman numeral number 7, item 3, change order number 208. This is an O&G change order. It's a closeout change order. It is changes out 4 allowances that are in our base contract with them. It's a negative change order for a credit back to the town of $56,832. It's been signed by Dan Hetzler for O&G, endorsed and approved by Steve June on behalf. It says O&G on here, but I know he means Silver Petroselli. On page 2 of that, so Dan Hetzler, we want to, when I sign my copy, I'll try to remember to pen and ink that. Unless Steve June, you got hired by O&G recently, so I don't think that happened. So.
Oh, I see it now.
We do actually. We do review these things.
I checked it to make sure Steve signed, but I didn't see who he signed for.
Yeah, I just signed. Sorry about that.
No, it's good. I'm just going to put on both pages that way. Yeah, both pages. It's wrong. The front page and
the software thing I've got to.
So, all right. Change order request number 208. It's a closeout change order back to the town of $56,832. And that does include $1,005 less for O&G and CM fee, which is always good for the town because it's less money we spend. Sorry, O&G. With that, I move that we accept the negative closeout change order.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Mr. McIntyre. Do we have any discussion on the change order? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Tominski, aye.
Kate DePalma Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. The change order is approved. Okay, next item is another change order. This is a change order for Ledyard Middle School. It's also a closeout for a single contract allowance closeout for Conn Acoustics in the amount a negative $12,445 coming back to the town. This is change order request number 236. It's been signed by Dan Hetzler and signed by Steve June, now working for Silver Petroselli. And it is in order, and I move that we accept the change order.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Mr. McIntyre. Do we have any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of accepting the change order signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Tominski, aye.
Kate DePalma Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
All right, with that, the ayes have it. That change order is approved. Moving on to number 5 on your agenda, motion to approve change order number 247 for the Ledyard Middle School. This is also another closeout change order, but this time for GMP allowances, 2, 3, and 5. It is a negative change order, credit back to the town on the GMP of $39,089 even. Change order request number 247, signed by Dan Hetzler on behalf of O&G, Steve June on behalf of Silver Petroselli. It is in order, and I move that we accept the change order.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Mr. McIntyre. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the change order as written, signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Tominski, aye.
Kate DePalma Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. The change order is accepted. All right, next we have 2 bills. These are bills for the school project for O&G Industries, the middle school first, then Gallup Hill School. We're getting close now to starting to close these things out, so I'm starting to take a little bit more scrutiny on this. It's good to hear that we're getting very, very close to the closeout of the final items on the schools. This is application for payment number 32. It is dated 30 April 2020 in the amount of $372,609.53. Of note, if you take a look at that at the end of the first section for O&G, you'll see that we are at 97.4% completion. and the balance to finish is $783,000. But just keep in mind that $184,000 of that is retainage, and there's a good chunk of that that's going to come back to the town. We're not going to spend about $600,000. So we're down in we're getting very, very close to it only being retainage at this point, and we're releasing retainage and taking back allowances. So we're in pretty good shape. If you like to scan down these reports, one of the things that's easy to look at now, by the way, is if you look in the work completed this period column, you'll get a feel for some of the what's being charged off where on these reports. It's pretty easy to follow right now because most of them are zeros, and then you see something pop open for work that's been done. So with that, this is application payment number 32 in the amount of $372,609.53. And it is in order. It's been signed by Mike Brennan, notarized, certified by the architect, and I move that we make payment.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Mr. McIntyre. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving payment for application number 32 on the Ledyard Middle School, signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Tominski, aye.
Kate DePalma Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
Okay, with that, the ayes have it. That motion is approved for payment. Moving on, I have AIA application number 32 from O&G Industries for the Gallup Hill School. This is the amount of $151,184.94. On Gallup Hill School, we are at about $1 million balance to finish, including retainage. If you were to scroll down on this one, you'll see that we are at 96.6% as far as work completed. Again, looking at column E, you can see the work that's been done this particular period. And there's fewer entries in Gallup Hill by far, a little bit less going on there. And that should all make sense as you go through it. And it is in order. It's been signed by Mike Brennan on behalf of O&G Industries and notarized. The architect, Steve June, has signed it for Sil Petroselli. It is in order, and I move that we make payment.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Mr. McIntyre. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the change, or approving the payment, signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Tominski, aye.
DePalma Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
Okay, with that, the ayes have it. That motion is approved for payment. Okay, that is all I have for the Ledyard School Improvement Project at this point. Just so everyone on the line know, our next meeting is not for a month. In fact, I'm looking at the calendar real quick. Because this meeting was on the 1st of June, our meeting will not be until July 6th, which is the 4th of July weekend. And Lisa, is our meeting on the 7th because the 6th is the recognized holiday?
No, for the town, it's actually the Thursday before, so the 6th is a normal day.
Okay, that's going to be a full 5 weeks from now. We may wind up needing to have a special meeting in late June in order to deal with that. With the holiday weekend, I know a lot of people are traveling right now, but I may be looking at a meeting the week of the 22nd, a virtual meeting, 22nd of June, just to deal with things that may have come up between now and then. More concern, we got like 4 projects going on right now between the asbestos, the track and field, and the 2 school projects. So I think we might need to have a meeting between now and then. It'll be virtual though, and we'll continue to track that as we move forward. So if not, for everybody's planning purposes, 6th July is our meeting, and we're in monthly meetings at this point. We've been meeting every 2 weeks for a long time, so nice seeing you all. All right, with that, is there anything else? If not, I'm going to move on to the track and field project. So O&G, Silver Petroselli, and if you guys have nothing else to add, you're free to go or stay on the meeting because it's an open meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Nothing else, so thank you.
Thanks. Hey, and also for Dan and Mike, make sure you keep me honest on getting you signed pages. I know I have one I got to swap out.
We'll keep you honest there. We'll send the reminder.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to Roman numeral number 8, the Ledyard High School Track and Field Project. So we have an invoice to pay. I'd first like to get Wayne to give us a quick update on where we stand.
I'm sorry, I was looking at my phone. This is the which project, track and field?
That's correct. Track and field, a quick overview of what's going on, status of the field, any problems noted, that type of thing.
Okay, no problems at all. They are currently in the base stone is down. I believe it's 100%. They were doing the final grading last Thursday or Friday when I was there. They started digging across for the connection to the school for the piping and setting out the pads for the bleachers and that type of thing. They did hit the electric line between the school and the field light pole. My crew was going to fix that, take care of that, repairing that conduit and stuff. They've been kind of generous and on the other end and helping us out with their equipment with a couple of things that we were doing on site. So we're just going to repair that pipe and take care of that for them. Other than that, everything looks good. They're waiting for the turf to come in so they can start laying it.
All right, and we're going to have a discussion here on the next item 2 about the, how far out of the woods we are with respect to things that are going to pop up and kind of bite us on this project as far as unknowns, unexpected. The bulk of the groundwork and things underground are behind us. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're not really expecting to see any additional cost involved in, in anything on the project at this point. Everything is pretty much above ground. There's no more digging to be done. So we expect that what's there will be what it is. The only unknown that Eric has, and he's asked that you leave an allotment, which is in the electric anyway. So the allotment is in the contract. We don't have to touch the contingency. It's for adjustment for the field lights, because with the, you'll get some additional reflectivity off the, turf that you wouldn't get off grass. So they might have to work or fine tune the field lighting a little bit.
Roger, understand that. Okay, appreciate that, Wayne. It's great that project's moving along without any problems. We had great weather too. Not a lot of big torrential thunderstorms or anything that would wash away stuff. All right, so we have a Castle Booze invoice. This is the monthly Castle Booze invoice that they bill us, each month for, because we're in the construction administration phase here. It's a $3,000 invoice. This is invoice number 19016.00-7, dated 29 May 2020, for the Ledyard High School Track and Field Project. Services rendered through 31 May in the amount of $3,000 to Castle Booze. And I move that we accept the invoice and make payment.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Mr. McIntyre. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the invoice signify by saying your name and aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Taminsky, aye.
Kate Palmer Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
With that, the ayes have it and the invoice is approved. All right, the next item we have here is, we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, and, one of the things on this particular project is that cost was an issue for us when we got into this. There were 6 additional add alternates that were placed in the contract. And there was one of them that we had to decide about right off the bat at the beginning, and that was the add the track throwing event renovations in there. And we kind of passed on that, and that's kind of behind us to my knowledge. The others include the 3-color sideline text of the word kernels on each side, the replacement of the fence along Gallup Hill Road, track and field equipment, that's actual stuff that you can hold and put in a room somewhere, and then the multi-sport scoreboard. So I want to address each of those for a minute, and Wayne, please chime in if I get this wrong. But my understanding, and then there's automated athletic lighting controls, which we didn't actually have a real solid quote on that. There's a $50,000 allowance in that, so we're kind of, we're not going to talk about that one really tonight anyway. But the multi-sport scoreboard is something that can be added later. In fact, it can be done at any time after the project, and Wayne believes that we may be able to get that scoreboard, install it, and use for significantly less than $49,000. And that's not something we have to even talk about today. It can be done in the future. The track and field equipment can be purchased at any time. It's equipment. The only advantage of putting it underneath this project would have been any bonding, spreading that cost out over multiple years instead of as an expense. That again can be decided in the future, and we may be able to actually find that less expensive. The Gallup Hill fence replacement is something that can be done at the end of the project as well. Although the fence is unsightly and it is getting rusty and nasty looking, the fact is we don't have to make a decision on that till the end of the project, and we may choose not to make any decision. I already mentioned alternate 2, the track and field throwing event renovations. That was in the past to make that decision because it affected a lot of stuff. So with that, we have alternate number 1, which is the 3-color sideline text for the word kernels. In the original diagrams and things that were provided by the architect on this, the field did show the word kernels on each side. It looked smart, it looked good. We were extremely worried about cost at the time and the potential for change orders once we start digging in the ground. We've been very, very good on this project. Although the town council gave us a 5% contingency on the project, we have not really dipped into that but a few dollars. So at this point here, we're talking about 10% of the contingency and we have to make a decision on this tonight because they're getting ready, they have to start, this has to happen when they put the lay of the turf out to cut those letters out for kernels. It's a $27,450 option to do that. And it is probably, other than people that drive by and see the Gallup Hill fence, probably the most eye-appealing and town pride type thing that we can have. So with that, I'd like to have a short discussion. I'd like both Bob and Katie to first bring this up. I did speak with Wayne about this between meetings and said, hey, Wayne, I'd like to get the superintendent's take on this. And Wayne had reported back to me that the superintendent will not come out and specifically ask for it. However, he felt that it would be nice if we had it. Did I characterize that correctly, Wayne?
Yeah, he wasn't going to ask for any additions on this project.
Okay. So with that, we talked at our last meeting here. Bob and Katie, you guys have been close to this thing. I know, Bob, both you and Katie been on the facilities committee. I'd like to get your thoughts on this, accepting this ad alternate. We'd have to do it tonight in order to be able to move forward. So if each of you would speak your thoughts on this to the committee, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. So I'm 100% for the kernels written on the sideline. I know when the project first started, Amanda Fagan was pretty sure that she wanted that. It's a sense of pride for all the students just to see that on their sideline. So I would say that we should definitely do that.
Okay. Katie? Kate?
I would also be supportive of it. I agree with Bob. It is a definitely a boost when you walk out onto the field and see the kernels on there. So I would be supportive of it.
Okay. And it's about maybe 1.2% of the project cost. So it's not a huge expense by any means. And we may have the ability to do other items as we move further along on this. Those would be further discussions, but keep in mind, this is not like we're not getting reimbursed by the state on this. So there's no rush to do anything with any leftover funds on this that have been allocated for the project. So with that, is there any questions that any of the committee members have for anyone else that we want to talk about this before we get into making any motions?
I'll just, Steve, I'll just let you know that the reason to try and push this through tonight is that there's no additional cost. If that lettering doesn't make the truck, there will be additional shipping and costs to come out and install it. So right now it's at base cost.
Roger that.
What was quoted.
Understand, Wayne. So with that, Bob, since you're pretty close to this and you spoke to this, would you like to make a motion on the high school track and field ad alternates?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve that we add The 3-color sideline text kernels in the amount of $27,450.
Okay,
Second,
motion has been
In
made.
track and field.
second,
Motion has been made, seconded. The motion that is out is to accept add alternate number 1 at the quoted cost of $27,450 to add the text kernels to the synthetic turf. Are there any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the add alternate signify by saying aye. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Steve McIntyre, aye.
Jerry Chiminski, aye.
Kate Palmer Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
I was on mute for a minute. Okay, with that, the ayes have it, and that has been approved. And we will move on to the next item on our agenda. Okay. All right, I think we're done with the high school track and field. So moving on to the high school.
Actually,
I get,
wait, are you gonna talk about the
Yes.
invoice from HI?
yep, I have actually 2 things. I have a,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yep,
Go ahead.
change order, which is a negative change order in the amount of $35,715.41. This is the one I had sent you, Steve, that they had listed me as a sign off on. I just received a corrected one listing you as the signer for the town.
All right, Wayne, this is a negative change order. They're giving us credit back, right?
They're giving us credit back for $35,715.41 for the yeah, correct. For the changes and not in that were made because of the water and the electric changes that we made in the contract.
All right, so in this particular case here, is that going to impact any of the work over the next couple of weeks, or can we just accept that change order later?
We can accept the change order later. I don't think
Okay,
it would affect anything.
Okay, let's just,
Actually, it's
not on the agenda.
It's a
Right, and nobody has it
deduct
in
from
front
the
of them.
allowance. Yeah,
Right,
it's a deduct from the
so
allowance.
no one has it in front of them. We'll look at that at our next meeting then. That would get on the agenda.
I just forwarded to you, Lisa, so you should have it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the other item
All right.
is I received a invoice from Stone. I sent it over to Lisa, so she should have the copies. It came in after the agenda went out. So let me pull it up.
One thing I did notice though, Wayne, on that you forwarded me, it is not certified by Castle Booze. It's signed by HI.
All right, then we can't do anything with it till it's certified.
In order to keep money flowing, we know that HI Stone is a small business and all this stuff. If we do have a special meeting on the week of the 18th, that'll be on the agenda, please.
Okay, yep, no problem.
Wayne, do you want to contact Castle Booze or forward that to them or something for their signature?
I'll take
Okay.
care of it and get it.
Okay,
Excellent.
Sent.
and then get back to me. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Roman numeral number 9, high school asbestos removal project. Wayne, just give us a quick update of how that's going.
That began today. So they're in setting up their containment and their blowers and everything. So that is begun. So it's underway. We did, as I reported at the last meeting, make arrangements with the state to allow us to take students into the Ag Science Hall if we have inclement weather and for them to drop off and pick up their personal belongings.
All right, so the $500 charge is for the special waiver to be able to have kids in the school while we're doing the project to be able to do both, right?
Correct.
Okay, understand that. All right.
It didn't just include that. It also was Mystic Air's initial documentation they had to file with the state also.
Okay, understand. All right, so in this case, the motion is to approve Mystic Air invoice 55082 dated 20 May 2020 in the amount of $500. And I move that we approve the invoice.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Okay, motion's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the change order, the invoice, signify by saying your name and I. Steve Jeskowitz, aye.
Pete McIntyre, aye. Jerry Chiminski, aye.
Kate Palmer Herb, aye.
Bob Guerrero, aye.
Gary Schneider, aye.
Okay, with that, the ayes have it, and the motion is approved to pay the invoice. All right, with that, I think we wrapped up tonight. I am going to plan, in fact, Lisa, based on a couple of these invoices and things, I think we will go ahead and plan on a special meeting on the 18th. I don't think anyone's leaving town right now, so this is probably a good time to get that taken care of. It'll be a short meeting like this. We're less than an hour.
Hold on, Steve. I'm sorry. The 18th? That's a Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say the 18th?
15th or the 22nd? 15th is in 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's go with the 22nd. That'll give us time to get a bunch of stuff together. And I think the 19th is a holiday, isn't it? Nope, it's not. I'm sorry. Where am I at? June. Okay. Yeah, we're in good shape. Yeah, let's go with the 22nd, day after Father's Day.
Okay.
And we'll take care of paying all these things at that point, and hopefully by then we'll be further along with O&G stuff and more closeouts. All right. With that, if there's nothing else for the committee, I move we adjourn.
Second, Pete McIntyre.
Second by Ms. McIntyre. All in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye and hanging up. Just do it aye. Have a great day. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.